Hi everyone, Jim here. Just got back from doing a 3-day kayaking trip down the Pine River. Let me tell you about the first day. Back in July, a group of friends and I did a kayaking trip down the Manistee River. And we really enjoyed it. We spent 2 days on the river, had a great time, and we kind of all decided, let's do a 3-day trip over Labor Day weekend. So we kind of voted on it and came up with doing the Pine River, which is right next to the Manistee, empties into the same place, and we thought that would be a great trip to do. So on Friday night, we all meet at the Pine River Paddle Sports place where we were renting the kayak. We also got a campsite there. So my son and I were the first ones there. We got our campsite all set up. Then one of the other group members came and we told him, hey, we're going on a beer run. So for us tonight, when we go on a beer run, it's not like going to the store and getting a dirty 30. You know, we go and we find a craft brewery and pick up a growler. So the closest craft brewery was actually in downtown Manistee. So we went down there, had a flight of beers, and got a growler of the stout and brought it back to the campsite. Meanwhile, everybody else showed up and they went ahead and started making tacos. So by the time we got back, we had margaritas, tacos, and our growler of beer. So we were all set, had a great evening. For the first night, I just camped in a big tent with my regular gear for car camping. I figured I wasn't sure how my new mattress pad was going to work for my new lightweight gear, so I was a little concerned how that was going to play out. Whoa! Man, what a doofus. Is that really what I look like? Huh. Anyway, if you have any recommendations for kayaking adventures that I can go on, please let me know. My friends and I have really enjoyed these multi-day trips that we've done this summer, and we're really looking to expand our horizons and do more next year. So we're not tied to Michigan. I mean, we can go anywhere. We'd like to be kind of in the area, you know, so Ohio, Indiana, Kentucky, anything like that would be great. So if you have a recommendation, please leave it in the comments. We'd really like to hear from you. And if you like this video, hit the thumbs up. And as always, please subscribe to my channel. I'd love to have you on. Now let him get back to what he's doing. Who are you? That was weird, huh? Anyway, on the first night, we just used our regular car camping gear so I would have a good night's sleep. So I wanted to make sure that I had a good night's sleep, at least on the first night, if I wasn't going to sleep much during the next 2 nights. Fortunately, my new mattress worked out great, and I actually had some of the best sleep I've ever had. Not just sleeping in a tent, but sleeping in general. It really worked out well for me. So the next morning, we get up, we get our kayaks all put together, taken down to where the trailer is, and then they take us up the river. We were originally going to be putting in at Briar Patch, but the day kind of got away from us and things took a little longer than we expected. So we ended up putting in at Meadow Brook, which is about an hour closer. We got in on the river and immediately we saw that, you know, this is really a cool river. Much faster current than the Manistee and a lot more obstacles. So immediately we were dodging boulders and trees and stumps, all sorts of stuff. And for the first hour or so, I was really a little concerned even because I had to spend so much time just looking at the river to see where everything was to try not to tip over. And I did actually tip over once, but that was the only time during the whole trip, so I was pretty happy about that.
Not yet.
Great.
Any minute now. I'm optimistic. I've come close a few times. A couple of rocks that I leaned into. Huh? Yeah.
That help leaning into it
Well, I'm still.
a little bit, but not too much.
I'm still in the boat.
After a little while going down the river, I found this little spot that the current wasn't real strong and I could pull over and we could kind of regroup. So we got in here, everybody pulled in, we started talking about what we were gonna do next and that type of stuff. And Forrest and Ivy come up, and Ivy's swimming along in the water while Forrest is paddling, and he pulls into this area and it's just all this muck, just dark black, really smelly mud, and he just kind of has a conniption. Now, Forrest loves his dog. I mean, more than most people love their kids, I think. Spends a ton of money on her, but he was swearing at her and telling her to stay out of his boat, and it was brutal, but a lot of fun. So, yeah, he got her out in the river and she swam a little more, and then he let her back in the boat. It was no problem.
Couple close calls. Don't you dare do it. Don't you dare do it.
I didn't hear.
You know, Forrest, you get kind of like, I think like 3.5, maybe 4 bonus points thus far because of Ivy.
Of course.
I mean, her jumping out back in and you're still.
You
Yeah.
nasty.
Oh,
Back out of the boat. Nasty ass. Wait a minute. No.
Ivy,
Get out.
nobody loves you anymore.
Not at all.
Oh, let's go tenting, Ivy.
Oh man,
Oh God, it smells over here too. Like, why did anybody think this isn't a good idea to park here? Get off my boat.
that would be me,
Fuck off my boat.
Ivy.
God,
Yeah, before
please,
Ivy
get out
decides to jump another ship.
Ew.
Oh, poor Ivy.
Poor Ivy, what the f? Come on, let's go. Get the fuck out of here. Come on. Don't you dare get in my boat. Go that way. Go that way.
You gotta get a picture.
I've got it all on video.
Is there an audio to it?
Oh yeah.
Oh, might have to do a little editing.
Ivy,
but-
come on, girl. Come on, let's go swimming.
Yeah.
She's in the. Oh.
Come here. Come here a little bit. Don't come here close.
But you called me bad words.
I do call you a lot of bad words. Especially when you decided you should keep it like this.
She says, well, I do stupid shit like this all the time and everybody laughs.
I know. Like everybody else loves me, Forrest. What's wrong with you? You got the perfect view.
I can take video. Sometimes I tell people and they're like, I don't know what the hell you're talking about.
So on our previous kayaking trip, we went down the Manistee, which was a beautiful river, and it was just majestic to describe it. You were so much into the wildlife, and you felt like you're out in the middle of nowhere. You didn't see any houses, no cars, nothing. And it was a wide, it had a current, but it was a pretty slow moving current. So you could really take in all of the things around you. The Pine River is completely different. They both go into the same Tippy Dam backwaters and meet there, but the Pine River is really fast, much windier, much narrower, and a lot more houses and roads and stuff nearby. The thing about it is that where on the Manistee you could stop and look around and really take it all in. The Pine was a fun river, but you had to pay attention to the river constantly. You know, every time I would even stop to take a drink of water, I would get turned around in the river and hit something and almost fall in. So to stop and look around at all the scenery around it was really hard to do. The current was fun and it was a great time, but it was a totally different experience than the Manistee River. But I would do both of them again in a heartbeat. They were both great experiences and just lots of fun.
deeper on the right? Aha. That was not a fun ride.
Now on our first day, we were going to go from Briar Patch to the Silver Creek campground, but we ended up doing Meadow Brook to Silver Creek. It was still, you know, really nice distance. We spent probably about 4 hours in the boats, and you know, we started pulling into the campground probably a little after 7 p.m. So it was just starting to get, you know, twilight hours, but we still had enough daylight to get our tents set up and get everything going, and it was really a great time. At the campground, we got everything going. I put up a little clothesline to try to dry my clothes since I'd fallen in. Everything was soaked, and I hadn't thought to bring another bag to put wet clothes in. I'll be doing that in the future and add it to my kayaking gear list. But we got everything set up. We got our cook stoves. I made some spaghetti for dinner. My son had beef stroganoff. Then we walked around the campground and visited with some of the neighbors that had kayaked down as well, and you know, just had a really nice night. So as it got later, I went into my tent, you know, watched some TV on my phone, laying down on my new mattress pad, and went to sleep and had one of the best night's sleep ever. I've never been able to sleep in a backpacking tent, and this time not only did I sleep well, but I slept really well, and woke up the next day refreshed. The first day of this trip was amazing. We had a great time. Everything about it was perfect. Had a little bit of rain that night, and that was about it. If you like this video, hit the thumbs up button. If you'd like to see more of my content, hit subscribe. I do product reviews, adventure videos, recipes, you name it. We have a lot of fun on this channel, so join us. Thank you.